If Joseph lived in Nigeria today, the first thing you would notice about him is not his destiny, it is his problem. Because in Nigeria, if you say you saw a dream where your brothers bowed to you, they will not congratulate you, they will price rope. Joseph was that kind of boy, quiet, different, too calm for the chaos around him. While his brothers were shouting about connection and survival, he was talking about purpose. In a compound where everybody was managing, Joseph was announcing future greatness like a politician with no structure. And that was his first mistake. Because in this country, if you shine small, people will bring sunglasses, not to protect their eyes, but to study how to dim you. His father loved him openly. That was the second mistake. Favoritism in an African home is like pouring petrol near jealous men. It does not need prayer to ignite. It just needs time.
Before you continue, kindly take a moment to like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe so you can get our posts. That's the way you can support and help us to bring you more. Thank you.
So Joseph walked around in his special clothes, talking about strange dreams, unaware that envy does not shout, it plans. They laughed at him first. That soft, playful laughter that hides irritation. Dreamer, prophet of Wi-Fi, motivational speaker without money. But every joke was a rehearsal for betrayal. And one day, when Joseph came innocently to check on his brothers, they decided to check him into suffering. It is amazing how family meetings can happen without you, about you. They didn't kill him, no. Killing is emotional, selling is business, and jealousy prefers profit. So Joseph moved from being a beloved son to merchandise, discounted destiny, auctioned potential, exported pain. If you think betrayal hurts, try betrayal with negotiation. And somewhere between the back of a truck and the silence of realization, Joseph learned his first dark lesson. The people who know your childhood can still mortgage your future. But here is the part that will shock you. God was not panicking. Joseph arrived in the house of a powerful man, Chief Potty, big gate, bigger ego, security guards that looked suspiciously like former cultists who found religion. Joseph became a houseboy, from dreamer to domestic staff, from prophecy to pressing iron. But darkness has a funny way of testing light, and Joseph refused to rot. He worked with integrity. In a system where stealing is considered wisdom, Joseph was honest. In a country where cutting corners is culture, he walked straight lines. And that was his third mistake. Because excellence attracts attention, and not all attention is divine. Madame Potty noticed him. Now understand this. Temptation rarely introduces itself as evil. It comes dressed with perfume and opportunity. Madame Potty was bored. Wealth can buy comfort, but it cannot buy excitement. And Joseph looked like excitement wrapped in discipline. She tested him with compliments first. You are different. You are not like other boys. The kind of sentences that have destroyed greater men. Joseph refused. Now in Nigeria, if a powerful person desires you and you decline, you are not brave, you are in danger. So she changed the story. And just like that, Joseph went from trusted assistant to accused predator. That is the thing about false accusations. They travel faster than truth and arrive with luggage. Chief Potty did not investigate. He reacted because protecting reputation is easier than pursuing truth. Joseph was thrown into prison. Let us pause here. He refused temptation and landed in prison. He worked faithfully and landed in prison. He kept integrity and landed in prison. If Joseph were alive today, motivational speakers would avoid this part because this part does not sell seminars. Prison in Nigeria is not poetic. It is not symbolic. It smells like regret and overcrowding. It sounds like metal doors and forgotten promises. Joseph entered with nothing but his character, and even there he did not break. Some people change when they suffer. Joseph sharpened. He began to interpret dreams again, because when your gift is from God, prison does not cancel it. It only advertises it to a new audience. One inmate dreamt of restoration, another dreamt of destruction. Joseph told them the truth, not what they wanted to hear, what they needed to hear. And here is another dark reality. When people are restored, they forget the one who helped them survive. The freedman returned to comfort and forgot Joseph. 2 years passed. 2 years of silence. 2 years of unanswered prayers. 2 years of wondering if integrity was a scam. But heaven was not confused. When the governor himself began to dream strange economic nightmares, famine, collapse, scarcity, suddenly Joseph's name resurfaced. Notice something. The same system that imprisoned him now needed him. The same structure that silenced him now searched for him. Joseph was brought out, cleaned up, and presented before power. And he did not beg. He did not say, "Please, I have suffered." He said, "God will give interpretation." Confidence born from survival sounds different. It is quiet. It is steady. It has nothing to prove. He interpreted the dream. 7 years of abundance, 7 years of hunger. Prepare now or suffer later. The governor listened, and in one decision, Joseph moved from inmate to administrator. Promotion can happen in one conversation, but preparation takes years. Joseph became second in command. The boy they sold now controlled national food security. The irony is delicious. Then famine came, and guess who showed up hungry? His brothers. Life has a sense of humor that borders on wickedness. The same men who sold him to survive were now kneeling to survive. They did not recognize him. Success changes your appearance. Suffering changes your voice. Joseph saw them, and in that moment, every memory returned. The laughter, the rope, the transaction. Revenge was available. Power gives you options, and pain gives you motivation. He could have destroyed them legally, politely, respectfully. But Joseph had learned something in darkness. If God used their betrayal to position him, then destroying them would mean rejecting his own process. So he tested them, not out of cruelty, but to see if time had changed their hearts. When he finally revealed himself, fear swallowed them whole. They expected punishment. Instead, they received provision. He said something that only a processed man can say. You meant it for evil. God meant it for good. Let that sentence sit in your chest, because it is not denial of pain, it is mastery of perspective. If Joseph lived in Nigeria today, people would say he was lucky. They would ignore the pit, ignore the prison, ignore the loneliness. They would only see the palace. But here is the dark truth. God does not waste betrayal. He does not waste false accusation. He does not waste forgotten seasons. He builds with them. Joseph's story is not about dreams coming true. It is about character surviving pressure. It is about integrity in a corrupt system. It is about refusing bitterness when revenge is affordable. If you are in your prison season right now, this part is uncomfortable because it means delay is not rejection. It means silence is not absence. It means the same God who allowed the pit also planned the palace. Joseph was sold, lied on, forgotten, but he was never abandoned. And maybe, just maybe, the darkest chapters of your life are not proof that God left. Maybe they are proof that your story is too dangerous to unfold without preparation. If Joseph lived in Nigeria today, his brothers would still bow, not because he forced them, but because purpose cannot be trafficked, and destiny, no matter how delayed, does not expire.
The message. What if I told you Joseph's biggest test was not the pit, not the prison, not even betrayal? What if I told you the real danger began after the promotion? Because poverty tests your faith, but power tests your heart. In part 2, we are not going back to the pit. We are going to the palace. What happens when the dreamer finally has authority? What happens when the boy they mocked now controls the economy? What happens when the same system that broke him now bows to him? Does success purify a man, or does it reveal him? In part 2, we explore the part nobody preaches about: the loneliness of leadership, the temptation of revenge when punishment is legal, the pressure of managing a nation that once ignored you, the silent question Joseph must face: if God lifted me, who am I becoming? We will see how power whispers, how influence seduces, how pride hides in gratitude, and how easy it is to slowly become what once hurt you. Because it is one thing to survive suffering, it is another thing to survive success. And here is the real twist. Not everyone who leaves prison is free. Some people carry their bitterness into the palace. So in part 2, we ask a dangerous question. Did Joseph forgive, or did he just move on? And if your enemies bowed before you today, would you feed them or finish them? Part 2 is not about destiny. It is about dominance. It is about leadership. It is about the war between character and control. Because sometimes the greatest threat to your calling is not your enemy. It is your elevation. Subscribe to this channel now, because in the next episode, we are stepping into power. And power changes everything.